Hello, it's Susan here, and I am going to show you another gorgeous card today using products from the Ornate Garden Suite. This suite is an early release that Stampin' Up! Is offering you. Will be in the annual catalog when it comes out and premieres in June, but you can get it early and get a chance to start playing with it and make your springtime cards, because boy, it's everything in that set just gorgeous, absolutely stunning. It comes with 2 sets of dies and embossing folders. This is the card we're going to make today. These are the dies, and we are going to use the dies today. And they have all these gorgeous rectangle dies, borders, insets, just stunning. All of these dies come with that bundle. These are the 3 that we're going to use today. Aren't they pretty? All right, so I am going to get started. Again, this is the gorgeous card that we're going to make. And it's actually very simple, and we're going to talk about conserving cardstock and things like that. So here is my base, 8.5 by 5.5. I have it scored at 4 1/4, and I'm going to fold it. Now you'll see there's a little ridge here and a little indent here. We call this the valley and this the mountain. And we want to fold into the mountain. It is the opposite of what your brain would tell you is logical to do. And the reason for that is it helps prevent the cardstock from cracking and getting those ugly folds that you can get sometimes if you don't have a score line or if you go against the grain of the paper. Okay, so this is our card front. Now, the next layer that we have in our card is this beautiful gold foil. And this gold foil piece is cut at 5 3/8 by 4 1/8, which means it's just 1/8 of an inch smaller than the front of the whole card. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get my Big Shot out. Stampin' Up! Will be premiering their new Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine shortly after this new catalog is introduced. We don't have a firm arrival date, but it is en route, so we should have it hopefully within a couple of months. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut out the centerpiece because I want to conserve my foil. I don't want to waste foil paper ever. So I'm going to just make sure I'm not too close to the edges because I need my edges to stick out. And then I'm going to run it through the Big Shot. Now you notice I've got a black plate underneath it. That is a precision plate for when you are die cutting really detailed items. And I apologize, the camera's going to shake. There's just no way for me to stop that while we're going back and forth. Okay, I'm doing it gently so that the camera's not quite as bad. Now I'm going to turn this on a little bit of an angle because I have found I get a better cut when I do that. Couldn't tell you why, but I forgot to do that when I first put it in. Typically, when you have a long die, if you run it through long ways, you get a better cut. But then if you go across, because there are different pressure points across the Big Shot, and everybody's is different. So where mine could cut something beautifully, yours might not do it at that point. Look how beautiful that is, even without punching out all those pieces that we are going to do. So this is going to be my border, and I'm going to go ahead and put this back in here because now I want to cut out the center. And you want to know, why didn't I do it all in the first place? Because I didn't want to run a risk of it something slipping and moving, and then I would have completely messed up this beautiful frame that is the focal point of our card today. All right, I think that's in the middle. I think it's straight. So now we're going to send this baby through. But anytime you are using our fancy foils or glimmer paper or a special designer paper or something, and you're covering it up with cardstock, always cut the inside out first. You get a lot. Your paper goes further. Okay, so I flip it over to take a look at it, and I'm not sure if you can see this or not, but if you see over here, it doesn't look as dark as these cuts. That means it probably didn't cut all the way through. So, this is a challenge now because I've already taken it off. All right, so we're going to try it again, and I'm hopefully got it right on the same spot. Stampin' Up! Is sending me another set of these dies because I don't know if my problem there is that my Big Shot is just worn out and I don't have enough pressure, or if there's actually something wrong with my dies. But they are sending me new ones. They are en route as we speak. Look how gorgeous that is. Woo. I just love these dies. I get so excited playing with them. All right. So now I can move the Big Shot out of the way. And this, again, is another Big Shot tool that we don't carry anymore, but it's kind of a staple for me. This is the Big Shot brush. And you just very gently can go over all of that and knock out all those pieces in no time. Now we do have a new addition to our Take Your Pick tool. These ends come off and they're interchangeable, and there is a brush tip end for that, but I just don't have it yet. I was kind of waiting until my Big Shot brushes all fell apart. I think this is my last one, so it's gonna be time to order that because this is a wonderful, wonderful, helpful tool. I don't think I would not want to cut out detailed images without it. And then if you have a few strays, you can just kind of poke them out. Because you don't want to push hard when you're doing the Big Shot brush because you don't want to tear your paper. Ideally, if you leave the die on it and then brush over it, you can use a lot more pressure, and it actually kind of helps knock things out of the die too. All right, I think that's perfect. Beautiful. There's little pieces of this gold paper everywhere in my house right now. Everywhere. I know. The little backings that come off the dimensionals are always stuck to everything. You know, I found one in the refrigerator one time. It's insane. I was just cracking up. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's a dimensional in the fridge. All right. Let's see. That one came out really nicely now. Okay, but I always try to check them before I take the die off, because sometimes you can get that die back in its place, but sometimes you can't. So better to check than be disappointed and have to start over. All right, so now I'm actually almost ready to assemble my card. I have one more Big Shot technique here, and I am going to put the Big Shot back. And I'm switching out the plates. Now I have the regular base plate. Before I had, I'll show you, before I had the magnetic base plate and this precision plate. And look, the magnet is like incredible. Super hard. Hurts if you get your fingers in there though. Whew. Okay, so I am now going to use the embossing folder that is a part of this suite. This is the Ornate Floral 3D embossing folder, and it's number 152725 if you want to make a note, and it's just $9. And I'm going to emboss a couple things with it. So this is one of our 3D embossing folders, meaning you get a very deep emboss, so it really just pops off the page. Okay. So it's just going to be all these pretty little flowers. And just like with our designer paper, with these embossing folders, you can't tell how gorgeous they are until you actually get them. They are just stunning. And look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Blackberry Bliss paper is just perfect for this. Now I'm going to do one more little piece with it because this is going to be the piece that I'm going to put inside my card. So I'm just going to go back through this way. Again, sorry for the camera shake. And now I have this tiny little strip. And I will show you why when we do the inside of the card. All right, these things are out of the way now. And we can start putting things together. Let's do the front. So I have my base. Liquid Tombow is typically my glue of choice. I have discovered, though, you do have to be careful that your lines are very thin. Like that would leave an awful bop. It was so nice of it to do that for me, wouldn't it? But that's going to be hidden. It's going to be covered up. So if you have a thick line, it tends to show up as kind of a bump, which we really don't want it to do. And this is even too much, because if it oozes out and gets onto that foil paper, it's really hard to clean off. All right. Now I really want you to lay flat for me, cardstock. Better. Okay, so this is going on first. And because I have liquid glue, I have the flexibility of being able to scooch it around if I don't get it on there straight. I think that's pretty good. Okay, I'm oozing out up there, so I'm just going to be really careful. I'm not really going to push, because I know that's going to... I'm going to take my fingernail and just kind of do that. I'm going to wipe it off. All right. So if you see where I put those, you've got little lumps and ridges. It's not going to matter, because we're going to put this on top of it. So now I'm going to do that. Now normally when I use Liquid Tombow, and I use it for multiple of reasons. First of all, a little bit will do you, a dab will do you, and you get a lot for your money. I think they're $4 if I remember correctly. And the hold is incredible. Now normally when I just do cardstock, I do the edge. You see I kind of did a little more and went through the middle here. That's because of all of the heavily embossed images in there. I do that to make sure that the paper has a good secure grip to the one that's underneath it. Oh wow, I got that on there perfect, first time. Yay! I get excited even when simple things work out. Okay, now we're going to do the next one. Now, we're going to glue it. See, it's going to go right on top of there. But, is that right? Yeah. It looked funny. It looked smaller, and I'm like, did I use the right die? But I'm going to switch to a different glue because I don't want to run a risk of it actually showing. So I'm going to try glue dots for this one. So what I'm going to do is I just position it under there, but I don't think I got it in the right spot. Sorry. Okay, I don't really want it over the dots. So I'm going to just pull it off. Maybe I should go back to just trying to use the glue and be really thin with it. Be easier. Be easier. Where's the pokey tool? We had an escapee here. All right. All right, I'm going to give it a shot, but it's got to be really thin. Okay, well, it's got to actually come out. So I'm just barely squeezing it so that it doesn't come out in a thick ridge. Just kind of, but I think when I did that one, I used glue dots to put it on there. There's a fuzz on there. All right, so this is going to go in the center. And you do want to make sure this is straight. Okay. I'm hoping I have enough on there that it will actually stick. I have a little piece that didn't come out. All right. So I think it worked. I think I did thin enough that it is not going to show. Now the next one I do, I am going to put this whole thing on with glue dots because we're going to cover the center. But I'm also going to use glue dots because they're going to raise it up just a smidgen more than gluing flat wood. And I'm going to put about 6 on there. I see some flower petals that need to be poked. One more. Poke out of there. Okay. So now this is next, and it's literally gonna, it's a puzzle piece now. It's gonna fit right back in there, right where we took it out. Just like that. So it is raised up just a smidgen because I did those glue dots. Now, there are multiple levels that you can create. If you use glue or tape, you're flat. If you use a glue dot, you bump up a little. You can roll the glue dot up and it comes up a little more. And the next level is dimensionals. So you've got a lot. I went ahead and cut this piece out ahead of time. And I'm gonna, again, you know what? I'm gonna put that on with glue dots, I think. Whoops. All right, it's proving challenging, I'm sorry. Okay. I'm not gonna do glue dots just because it's just not working for me today. Sometimes you have the best laid plans and they just don't work. So again, we're going to try the really thin stream of glue. There we go. There's a nice thin line. I'm going to do this here, here. All right. Okay, I think that will do it. I'm just going to put tiny dabs of it here. Just kind of whatever's left on the tip. Just so those inner pieces stay put. All right. Now, oh, got glue on my fingers. See, it's sticky. Okay, so now I'm going to put this on here, and that is just 1/8 of an inch border that it's going to get. So it's a little harder to do those smaller borders. You have to be very precise in your placement, but it gives just a different effect than that larger 1/4 inch. So this gold foil was cut at 1 1/4 by 2 1/2, and then the Blackberry Bliss layer under it is 1 3/8 by 2 5/8. Okay, just wiping some glue off. Now I do want to bop this up in the middle. I want that to have some impact because these beautiful die cuts are literally the focal point of our card. You see, I don't even have words on the front. And some cards just don't need words on the front. Some of them do just fine, just being a beautiful, beautiful exterior card. Whoops. All right, now this is going to go in the center. All right, now I'm, let go. Okay, in my centering, I am looking at the images on the border underneath it. So I'm going to be right at those dots, and these are like half covered. That's how I'm deciding if it's straight. Now I'm going to put a pretty little ribbon on it, just for a pop of color. This is our mint macaron ribbon, and I want to say it looks like it's a 1/4 inch. Yep, it's 1/4 inch. So simple way to do a ribbon, a bow. Leave the ribbon on the spool, and just do like you're tying your shoe in the air. It's really quick, it's really easy, and you get a lovely bow. Don't pull too hard, or you may lose the pretty knot. But you can decide if you want it bigger or smaller. I think that's about what I want. All right, I'm going to use my ribbon scissors, which is a retired craft scissors from Stampin' Up. Any really good sewing scissors will work. Just make sure that it's dedicated to ribbon or fabric only, because when you cut paper, it kind of dulls the blade. All right, so I'm just going to put a glue dot center of that. They're just sticking to me like crazy today. It's very humid here in Missouri. We've got 79 degrees here. I'm like, oh, feels like summer. Okay, so there's the front of our card. Not a difficult card to do by any means, as long as all your pieces want to fall out for you. Now I want to do an inside, and I'm going to show you what I was doing with that little strip. So I'm going to stamp my sentiment in here, and this is very vanilla. So it's a little softer than Whisper White, but it's still just kind of harsh if it's plain. And I wanted to bring some gold in, but I didn't want to do an entire layer back there. So I had this scrap of gold sitting around, and it was a perfect fit to go over my border here. So I'm going to stamp my sentiment in Blackberry Bliss ink, and the sentiment comes from the stamp set So Sentimental. This is the stamp set. This comes as a bundle, and it is coming back in the new catalog. I love this stamp set. I have used it so many times. So many times. All right, so I'm going to put it about there. Beautiful. Oh, I get such pretty images when I do it. Such pretty images. Okay, so I'm going to just run glue down the center of that and glue it to my gold piece. By keeping the glue in the center, if I'm off, I can scooch it around without getting the glue on the edges. It's scooching quite a lot, isn't it? Takes a little bit longer for it to dry when it's on foil. Obviously, that slick surface makes it really difficult. So now I'm just going to stick it here on the bottom. Just for a little decoration, I'm going to leave a little bit of the vanilla showing. I try to always pull something from the front of my card to the inside. I also try to decorate my envelopes with either a stamp or designer paper, or you can emboss the envelope flap. Like with this, that would be really pretty for this card. All right. Now I'm just going to pop it on the inside of my card, and I will be done. Thank you so much for your patience with this video. I had a few snafus there, but you see I stuck to the edges. When you use very vanilla or Whisper White paper, sometimes that adhesive that you use can tend to show through. It's just a thinner paper, and it's just easier to see through it. All right, so there we are, and we have our beautiful card. What do you think? I think it's stunning. And this will be a lovely card to send to somebody to brighten their day. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like the video, hit the subscription button and the bell for notification of my next video. Make yourself a card and send it to someone today. Send someone a smile. Bye.